Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, the philosophy of the Sri Sampradaya, is a sub-school of the Vedanta school of Hindu philosophy. The other major subschools of Vedanta being Advaita, Dvaita, Dvaitadvaita, and Akintyabheda. Vishishtadvaita is a non-dualistic school of Vedanta philosophy. It is non-dualism of the qualified whole, in which Brahman alone exists, but is characterized by multiplicity. It can be described as qualified monism or qualified non-dualism or attributive monism. It is a school of Vedanta philosophy which believes in all diversity subsuming to an underlying unity. Ramanuja, the main proponent of Vishishtadvaita philosophy, contends that the Prasthanatraya, namely the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras are to be interpreted in a way that shows this unity and diversity, for any other way would violate their consistency. Vedanta Desika defines Vishishtadvaita using the statement, Asesha Chittachit Prakararam Brahmikam Evatattvam. Brahman, as qualified by the sentient and insentient modes, is the only reality. Philosophers. The Vishishtadvaitic thought is considered to have existed for a long time, and it is surmised that the earliest works are no longer available. The names of the earliest of these philosophers is only known through Ramanuja's Vedartha Sangraha. In the line of the philosophers considered to have expounded the Vishishtadvaitic system, the prominent ones are Bodhayana, Dramida, Tanka, Guhadeva, Karpadi and Baruchi. Besides these philosophers, Ramanuja's teacher Yamunacharya is credited with laying the foundation for what culminates as the Sri Bhashya. Bodhayana is considered to have written an extensive vritti on the Purva and Uttara Mimamsas. Tanka is attributed with having written commentaries on Chandogya Upanishad and Brahma Sutras. Nathamuni of the 9th century AD, the foremost acharya of the Vaishnavis, collected the Tamil Prabandhas, classified them, made the redaction, set the hymns to music and spread them everywhere. He is said to have received the divine hymns straight from Namalva, the foremost of the 12 Alvas, by yogic insight in the temple at Alva Tirunagari, which is located near Tirunelveli in South India. Yamunacharya renounced kingship and spent his last days in the service of the Lord at Srirangam and in laying the fundamentals of the Vishishtadvaita philosophy by writing 4 basic works on the subject. Ramanuja is the main proponent of Vishishtadvaita philosophy. The philosophy itself is considered to have existed long before Ramanuja's time. Ramanuja continues along the line of thought of his predecessors while expounding the knowledge expressed in the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras and Bhagavad Gita. Vedanta Desika and Pillai Lokacharya, disciples in the tradition of Ramanuja, had minor disagreements not on the philosophy, but on some aspects of the theology, giving rise to the Vadakalaya and Thenkalai schools of thought, as explained below. Swaminarayan, the founder of Swaminarayan Hinduism, also propagated this philosophy and based the Swaminarayan Sampradaya on these ideals. Sri Dharma Pravatakaracharya, founder of the International Sanatana Dharma Society, is also a follower of Vishishtadvaita philosophy. Key principles. There are 3 key principles of Vishishtadvaita. Tattva, the knowledge of the 3 real entities, namely, Jiva, Ajiva and Ishvara. Hita, the means of realization, as through bhakti and prapatti. Purushartha, the goal to be attained, as moksha or liberation from bondage. Epistemology. Pramanas. Pramana refers to the correct knowledge, arrived at by thorough reasoning, of any object. Pramana forms one part of Attribution. Pramatya, the subject, the knower of the knowledge. Pramana, the cause or the means of the knowledge. Pramaya, the object of knowledge. In Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, only the following 3 pramanas are accepted as valid means of knowledge. Pratyaksa, the knowledge gained by means of perception. Perception refers to knowledge obtained by cognition of external objects based on sensory perception. In modern-day usage, this will also include knowledge obtained by means of observation through scientific instruments, since they are an extension of perception. In new manner, the knowledge gained by means of inference. Inference refers to knowledge obtained by deductive reasoning and analysis. Shada, the knowledge gained by means of Shruti. Shruti refers to knowledge gained from scriptures, primarily the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita. Rules of epistemology. There are three rules of hierarchy when there is apparent conflict between the three modes of acquiring knowledge. Shada or Shruti, Pramana occupies the highest position in matters which cannot be settled or resolved by pratyeksa or by a new manner. A new manner occupies the next position, when pratyeksa yields a definitive position on a particular issue. Such a perception cannot be ignored by interpreting Shada in a way which violates that perception. Metaphysics. In the broadest sense, Ishvara is the universal soul of the pan-organistic body consisting of the universe and sentient beings. The three ontological entities are described below. Ishvara is the supreme cosmic spirit who maintains complete control over the universe and all the sentient beings, which together also form the pan-organistic body of Ishvara. The triad of Ishvara along with the universe and the sentient beings is Brahman, which signifies the completeness of existence. Ishvara is para-Brahman endowed with innumerable auspicious qualities. He is causeless, eternal and unchangeable, and is yet the material and the efficient cause of the universe and sentient beings. He is both immanent and transcendent. He is the subject of worship. He is the basis of morality and giver of the fruits of one's karma. He rules the world with his maya, his divine power. Ishvara is considered to have a twofold characteristic. He is the indweller of all beings and all beings dwell in Ishvara. Antavyapi. When Ishvara is thought of as the indweller of all beings, he is referred to as the Paramatman, or the innermost self of all beings. He who inhabits water, yet is within water, whom water does not know, whose body water is and who controls water from within, he is yourself, the inner controller, the immortal. He who inhabits the sun, yet is within the sun, whom the sun does not know, whose body the sun is and who controls the sun from within, he is yourself, the inner controller. The immortal. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.7.4-14 Bahuvyapi. When Ishvara is thought of as the all-encompassing and the residence of all beings, that is, all beings reside in Ishvara, he is referred to as the Paramapurusha. The sentient beings and the insentient universe which form part of the pan-organistic body of Ishvara are encapsulated by Ishvara. Sarvam Kalvadam Brahma Chandogya Upanishad is a Vasyamidam Sarvamiti Upanishad. Chit is the world of sentient beings, or of entities possessing consciousness. It is similar to the Purusha of Samkhya system. The sentient beings are called Jivas and they are possessors of individual consciousness as denoted by I. The scope of Chit refers to all beings with the I consciousness, or more specifically self-awareness. Therefore all entities which are aware of their own individual existence are denoted as Chit. This is called Dhamma Jnana or substantive consciousness. The sentient beings also possess varying levels of Dhamma Bhuta Jnana or attributive consciousness. The Jivas possess three different types of existence. Nityas, or the eternally free Jivas who were never in samsara. Muktish, or the Jivas that were once in samsara but are free. Baddhas, or the Jivas which are still in samsara. Achit is the world of insentient entities as denoted by matter or more specifically the non-conscious universe. It is similar to the Prakriti of Samkhya system. Brahman. There is a subtle difference between Ishvara and Brahman. Ishvara is the substantive part of Brahman, while Jivas and Jagat are its modes, and Kalyana Gunas are the primary attributes. The secondary attributes become manifested in the effect state when the world is differentiated by name and form. The Kalyana Gunas are eternally manifest. Brahman is the description of Ishvara when comprehended in fullness, i.e., a simultaneous vision of Ishvara with all his modes and attributes. The relationship between Brahman and Jivas, Jagat, is expressed by Ramanuja in numerous ways. He calls this relationship as one of Sharira, Shariri, Prakara, Prakari, Shesha, Shashi, Amsha, Amshi, Adaradaya, Sambandha, Niyamya, Niyanta, Rashka, Rakshaka. These relationships can be experienced holding Brahman as the father, son, mother, sister, wife, husband, friend, lover, and lord. Hence, Brahman is a personal being. What does Nirguna Brahman mean? Ramanuja argues vehemently against understanding Brahman as one without attributes. Brahman is nirguna in the sense that impure qualities do not touch it. He provides three valid reasons for staking such a claim. Shruti, Shada Pramana. All Shrutish and Shadas denoting Brahman always list either attributes inherent to Brahman or not inherent to Brahman. The Shrutish only seek to deny Brahman from possessing impure and defective qualities which affect the world of beings. There is evidence in the Shrutish to this regard. The Shrutish proclaim Brahman to be beyond the trigunas which are observed. However, Brahman possesses an infinite number of transcendental attributes, the evidence of which is given in Vakyas like Satyam Jnana Manantam Brahma, Pratyaksha Pramana. Ramanuja states that a contentless cognition is impossible, and all cognition must necessarily involve knowing Brahman through the attributes of Brahman. In Umana Pramana, Ramanuja states that Nirgunatva itself becomes an attribute of Brahman on account of the uniqueness of no other entity being Nirguna. Ramanuja had simplified relationship between Brahma and soul. According to him, though soul is integral part of Brahma, it has independent existence. Theory of existence. The three ontological entities, i.e., Ishvara, Chit and Achit, are fundamentally real. It upholds the doctrine of Satkaryavada as against Asatkaryavada. Briefly, Satkaryavada is pre-existence of the effect in the cause. It maintains that Kaya is sat or real. It is present in the Karana in a potential form, even before its manifestation. Asatkaryavada is non-existence of the effect in the cause. It maintains that Kaya is asat or unreal until it comes into being. Every effect, then, is a new beginning and is not born out of cause. More specifically, the effect is a modification of what exists in the cause and does not involve new entities coming into existence. This is called as Paranamavada, or evolution of effect from the cause. This doctrine is common to the Samkhya system and Vishishtadvaita system. The Samkhya system adheres to Prakriti Paranamavada, whereas Vishishtadvaita is a modified form of Brahma Paranamavada. Kaya and Karana. The Karana and Kaya in Vishishtadvaita is different from other systems of Indian philosophy. Brahman is both the Karana and the Kaya. Brahman as the cause does not become the universe as the effect. Brahman is assigned to Karanashvas, Nimitta Karanashva, being the efficient, instrumental cause. For example, a goldsmith is assigned Nimitta Karanashva as he acts as the maker of jewelry and thus becomes the jewelry's instrumental cause. Upadana Karanashva, being the material cause. For example, the gold is assigned Upadana Karanashva as it acts as the material of the jewelry and thus becomes the jewelry's material cause. According to Vishishtadvaita, the universe and sentience always exist. However, they begin from a subtle state and undergo transformation. The subtle state is called a causal state, while the transformed state is called the effect state. The causal state is when Brahman is internally not distinguishable by name and form. It can be said that Vishishtadvaita follows Brahma Prakara Paranamavada. That is to say, it is the modes of Brahman which is under evolution. The cause and effect only refer to the pan-organistic body transformation. Brahman as the universal self is unchanging and eternal. Brahman having the subtle chit and achit entities as his sariram, prakararam before manifestation is the same Brahman having the expanded chit and achit entities as sariram, prakararam after manifestation. The essential feature is that the underlying entity is the same, the changes are in the description of that entity. For e.g., Jack was a baby, Jack was a small kid, Jack was a middle-aged person, Jack was an old man, Jack is dead. The body of a single personality named Jack is described as continuously changing. Jack does not become James because of the change. Ethics. Souls and matter are only the body of God. Creation is a real act of God. It is the expansion of intelligence. Matter is fundamentally real and undergoes real revelation. The soul is a higher mode than matter, because it is conscious. It is also eternally real and eternally distinct. Final release, that comes by the Lord's grace, after the death of the body, is a communion with God. This philosophy believes in liberation through one's karmas in accordance with the Vedas, the Varna system and the four ashramas, along with intense devotion to Vishnu. Individual souls retain their separate identities even after moksha. They live in fellowship with God, either serving Him or meditating on Him. The philosophy of this school is Sri Vaishnavism, a branch of Vaishnavism. Interpretation of Maha Vakyas. 1. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma from Chandogya Upanishad 3, 14.1 translated literally. This means all this is Brahman. The ontology of Vishishtadvaita system consists of a. Ishvara is para-Brahman with infinite superlative qualities, whose substantive nature imparts the existence to the modes. b. Jiva Sachit Brahman or sentient beings. They are the modes of Brahman which show consciousness. C. Jagat is achit Brahman or matter, universe. They are the mode of Brahman which are not conscious. Brahman is the composite whole of the triad consisting of Ishvara along with his modes, i.e., Jivas and Jagat. 2. Ayamatma Brahma from Mandukya Upanishad 1.2 translated literally. This means the self is Brahman. From the earlier statement, it follows that on account of everything being Brahman, the self is not different from Brahman. 3. Tattvamasi from Chandogya Upanishad 6.8.7 translated literally. It means thou art that here refers to Brahman and thou refers to Jiva. Ramanuja chooses to take the position of universal identity. He interprets this passage to mean the subsistence of all attributes in a common underlying substratum. This is referred to as samanadikaranya. Thus Ramanuja says the purport of the passage is to show the unity of all beings in a common base. Ishvara, who is the cosmic spirit for the pan-organistic body consisting of the universe and sentient beings, is also simultaneously the innermost self for each individual sentient being. All the bodies, the cosmic and the individual, are held in an adjectival relationship in the one Isvara. Tattvamasi declares that oneness of Isvara. When multiple entities point to a single object, the relationship is established as one of substance and its attributes. For e.g., in a statement, Jack is a tall and intelligent boy, the descriptors tallness, intelligence and boyness all refer to a common underlying Jack. Similarly, when the Upanishads declare Brahman is the universe, Purusha, self, prana, vayu, and so on, the entities are attributes or modes of Brahman. If the statement Tattvamasi is taken to mean as only the self is Brahman, then Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma will not make sense. Understanding neti, this is an Upanishadic concept which is employed while attempting to know Brahman. The purport of this exercise is understood in many different ways and also influences the understanding of Brahman. In the overall sense, this phrase is accepted to refer to the indescribable nature of Brahman who is beyond all rationalizations. Taittiriya Upanishad 2:9-1 passage Jato Vacho Navartantha, etc. state the same concept regarding Brahman. The Vishishtadvaita interpretation is that these passages do not indicate a black hole, but the incompleteness of any statement or thought or concept concerning Brahman. Brahman is these and more. This interpretation is consistent with Sarvam Kalvadam Brahma, Antayami Brahmanam of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad passage, Yasya Prithva Sariram Yasya Atma Sariram, is also interpreted to show that Brahman is not a 0-point Nirvishya Chinmatra. The typical interpretation of neti neti is not this or neither this, nor that. It is a phrase meant to convey the inexpressibility of Brahman in words and the futility of trying to approximate Brahman with conceptual models. In Vishishtadvaita, the phrase is taken in the sense of not just this, or not just this, not just that. This means that Brahman cannot be restricted to one specific or a few specific descriptions. Consequently, Brahman is understood to possess infinite qualities, and each of these qualities are infinite in extent.